Now, your relationship with your father will also define who you become as a father. And the chances are, most of us, the father that we condemn is the father that we become.
No. Sorry. This is actually tough. Sorry.
Most of us will complain how bad our fathers are. But when we look at our lives, we become exactly him. Now, your father, at the end of the day, when you grow up, you'll realize that your father is just a man like you. And when your father hated you, you'll realize he was your age. He didn't know, just the same way you don't know. Now, how do we go past it? Because your character is entrenched in your concept of fatherhood. A man can never be who is never seen. Your father is a mirror. And a mirror will only reflect the image that it catches. Now, the unfortunate thing is most of us as men, black men, we have a definition of fatherhood and manhood that comes from our grandfathers. But unfortunately, times have changed. If you look in that mirror, and it can only catch and reflect the image of whoever is around it, chances are that mirror keeps on reflecting your mother. Chances are that mirror keeps on reflecting your grandmother. Chances are that mirror keeps on reflecting your female teacher. Chances are that mirror keep on reflecting the women that you see in church, because 65% of our relationships are with women. Now, how do you make sure that you don't end up being a woman and you're demanding people around you to become men? What is the definition of a good man? Because you can never be what you cannot define. What does it mean to be a man? Where's the mic? Where's the mic? Just keep it here. We have to define. You can never become what you cannot define. This is the biggest problem we have as black people. We want so many things that we cannot define. Now, when we're defining, what does it mean to be a good man? Let's share some qualities. Give me one quality of a good man.
It's to respect. It's to love. It's to be kind. To be humble. That's all I know.
Anybody else? Is that all we need for manhood?
The qualities I'd list are integrity, understanding. I don't know how to define it, but it goes along with, I don't want to say stoic, because that means it's a little bit unapproachable, but it's someone who can stay strong with their morals. A good character, I believe. That's the best way I can describe it. But that's what I wanted to share.
I think the good values of a man, you have to stick to your values, respect your values, and set an example for whoever is watching, because there are some things that you do and you never know who's watching. So being a man, it's leading by example. Wherever you go, in whatever you do, you have to be committed and respect what you do and gain respect from other people. Yeah.
So one of the things I need us to do here is we need context. Context is important in every decision that you make. If you read in the news that I killed someone, does that make me a murderer? Why not? Why? But I killed someone. Okay? You said something?
It's not the law. Or, yeah.
Just say again?
It's the news saying it, it's not the law. So.
Yeah. But what's the context, right? What happens if this guy broke into my house and he almost killed my wife and I killed him in self-defense? Am I a killer?
loser. Wow.
Yeah?
Just
It's
killed someone,
a
but
fine
you're not
line.
killer. I know it's easy to say.
No, we need to define that because we need to define that because everything that we're going to talk about here, we have to have it in a specific lane. Because the minute it goes outside, we lose meaning. Okay? We lose meaning. If my father is a warrior, is a tribal warrior, his job is to protect the village. Killing is part of what his definition is. So it's not easy for my father to smile, but it's easy for my father to kill. Because for him, that's what manhood is. Right? Now, we need to define context. Our fathers was much easier for them to become men because it was easy. The definition of manhood was what we call the 3 Ps. Procreate, provide, and protect. It was very easy to be a man, traditionally. But right now, a lot of women don't need you to have kids. A lot of women now don't need you to protect them. We have police. A lot of women now don't need you to provide for them. They're educated, they have their own jobs. Now, if you're married to a woman that is educated, the house you live in is hers, the car you drive is hers, the food that you eat is hers, the fridge is hers, and the 2 kids in the house, she came with them. What is your role?
Non-existent.
So what are you?
A protector.
So when she says, be a man, what does that mean?
So just challenging you more than anything.
Because if we cannot answer those questions now, you're going to find yourself in trouble. It's a matter of time before you find yourself in trouble because most black men we seen as being violent. But if you have a woman that is self-sufficient, she's more educated than you are. The house you live in is hers. The food and the fridge you eat is hers. The kids in the house don't even call you daddy, they call you by your name. And she asks you to be a man. How do you become a man to a woman like that?
You know the mental health.
I answer just a thought I had when you were saying this, and something I feel like you might be getting to or you might be overlooking. From what I understand, sometimes as a man, providing, protecting, and procreating might not be the responsibilities you have or the things you can do. You might be unfortunate to not be able to produce. You might be you might be not as strong as every other man out there because there's police, there's all these different things to protect, and you might not be able to provide because the woman's doing better than you. I believe a man's role in that situation is to lead. As much as she's doing all of this, where's your leadership as a man? Because I feel like that's something I was taught as a boy, and that's something my dad always tries to teach me as well, is sometimes you just have to lead and not sit down and follow. You have to define your role as a man, and I think that's what I'm picking up on what you're saying. That's what I was thinking the whole time as you're speaking.
Makes a lot of sense. We have to redefine what our role is because the traditional role that we used to occupy is dead. Chances are the women you go out with right now are not your mother, and their expectations are totally different. Now, if you're not equipped for the current woman and she asks you to be a man, the only way for you to show her you are a man is domestic violence. That's why most men are beating women, because you're so frustrated and she's pushing you. So the only thing that you can do that she can't do is you're physically strong. And one thing that most of us forget, any woman, she has a big brother called the government. You only know how big a brother the government is when you push her.
It favors them more.
The minute you become violent, the big brother, That's it. Now, we need to change. We need to redefine manhood, and we need to change. Now, we cannot change until we understand the times we're living in. Times are different. During our father's time, I come from a place where my father has a lot of wives and he's got a lot of kids. Why did my father have a lot of kids? Because wealth was defined purely by the number of hands the home has. Wealth was defined with the number of cattle you have and how big your farm is and how many boys you have to work the farm. So during that era, education was not important for my dad. The more boys I have, and his job was the 3 Ps. His job was to procreate as much as he can. The land will provide for us, and our numbers will provide security. Right? Now, that was a different era. That was a totally different era where your physical strength was your passage to wealth. Then things started changing. We invented machines. People were digging and plowing, physically doing agriculture, which means there was a lot of physical labor, but the production was low. But then when they invented machines, then it meant machines can do more and produce that much without the cost of what? The cost of men. And at that point, our role as men started to doing what? Shrinking. But if our role was shrinking and the need for us in society was getting smaller and we did not adjust, and we're still stuck in the same mindset, then it means we're in trouble. That came into machine age. Now, the problem with the agricultural age was if you don't come from a place or a family that has land, then for the rest of your life, you're poor. Because if you work the land, it means you're a peasant. And the only way the landowner can pay you is what? Food. You work the whole day and they give you a small little place where you work and they give you food, you survive. Then when the machine age came in, there was a big shift. Now, no longer the landowner was the richest person. Whoever invented the machines now controlled power. Because the landowner needed the machine guy more. The machine age didn't last for long. All of a sudden, it was producing a lot of products, a lot of food, but it wasn't getting to the market. So there was a lot of food, but most of this food was rotting. So somebody had to come up with a better idea, and that's where transportation came in, logistics. Whoever invented trains, whoever invented cars, whoever invented planes, whoever invented ship became more powerful than whoever had what? Machinery, because he could take your goods from point A to point B. Now, as we're moving from era to era, one thing that we need to realize here, it's becoming easier and faster to become wealthy than the way it was when we were on the farm. Right? After logistics, of course, things changed. All of a sudden, we had computer age. And the unfortunate thing is most of us as black people, we're very much in front of the computer. We use them for fun. This, what is this? What is this? Is this a toy or is this a tool? It depends what you use it. If you use this as a toy, because anytime you're there on this thing and you're using it as a toy, you're the product being sold. You are using your time, you are using your money, and you're using one thing that you cannot afford to waste now, which is your focus. There's no free lunch. So when you're on this thing, you have to ask yourself, is this a toy or is this? The minute I put this thing on in the morning, I'm connected to 1.5 billion people in the world. Is that powerful? But it will depend what you do with it, right? Now, computer age changed. All of a sudden, if you look at computer age, people started becoming rich at a very young age. Traditionally, we know rich people were very old people. And most rich people, it was purely from inheritance. Computer age is brought us now to information age. This is where social media comes in. Now, as we're going through these ages, traditionally it was hard for us to get ahead if you didn't have rich parents to take you to school to get a certain level of education. How much education do you need now to succeed?
None.
You need some.
Guess some, I guess. I think, can I speak for you? I'm saying in this day and age, because I have a degree myself, and I feel like it's so non-existent nowadays, because I think we live in a day and age where it's more about the skills you can like acquire more than the education itself. There's many people that are living good and have great careers in the same industries that I studied in, and they didn't even study that, you know.
But remember, any education that you study.
So education, formal education is what you're speaking about.
Yeah.
Education could be learning.
Yeah, 100%.
Formal education, tertiary, I feel like nowadays, in this day and age, it's more about acquiring skill and getting experience.
Why do we go to school? What is the reason for going to school?
To learn. Sure.
Who can answer me? He says to learn? Why do we go to school? Keep him that. Why do we go to school? To be educated. Anybody else with a different opinion?
Go to school so that you can later, on a later stage, make a living. Yeah, we go to school to learn and stuff, but after all what we need is, man, can I try and counter the need for formal education? I went to school thinking I just need a piece of paper for the degree part of it, but through failure and succeeding again, I can say the same person I am now wouldn't have been here if I hadn't learned through all those failures. I've learned to fall and get back up again. I've learned to accept failure. I'm gonna fail at something. I learned to redefine failure from being a failure to I found the way of not doing it, so there's another way of doing it that's out there. That's how I'm trying to define formal education. Also, with the degree I'm doing, I don't know if you apply to all of them, but it changes the way you think and the way you see the world, the way you approach problems. That's my difference to formal education, because I have friends who didn't graduate making 30,000 and look here, I'm jealous, but at the same time, actually going for the fact that I'm seeing a long way around, because last year I wasn't doing the same thing I'm thinking right now. So that's my difference towards formal education, because you can learn anything from anywhere, but formal education, you're structured in a way for you that you learn the right stuff, but they won't test you properly. Like the test will be biased, but like the content structured in the right way. You kind of want to go learn something extreme and then go from here and then go here. It gives you a structure to follow and also time management, and also you learn about yourself as a person. That's my difference towards it.
From the question you're asking, why do we go to school? After a couple of thoughts, I believe in the beginning it's to give you the basics of understanding the world, and then further on it's supposed to open your horizons to the possibilities, and from there forward it's on you whether you continue trying to broaden your mind or you take what opportunities have been shown to you to expand on.
Now, all those answers you're giving, you have a different answer? All those answers you're giving make sense. But number one reason why we go to school is indoctrination. It's changing how you think. The second thing why we go to school is so that you can be employable. But those are all wrong reasons. Now, we need to change why we go to school. We need to learn to go to school with the sense that it makes it easy for you to learn. 50% of everything that you learn in school, by the time you finish school, they're completely obsolete. And the other 50% is useless. Who can tell me what a square root of 12 now is and how often do you use it? Now, it doesn't mean education is wrong. We need to understand why education was created. Education was purely created to create workers. And we think like workers. Now, most of us as black people, we're still very much stuck in that kind of thinking. Most of us are still complaining how much unemployment is because we believe we cannot get ahead unless somebody gives us a job. Now, and that's a mindset. All of us here, there are three currencies we all need in life. Now, at your age, there are three things that you have: time and energy. Those are your two biggest currencies. And those are the currencies that everybody will try to steal away from you or pay you for. If you're working for someone and he pays you $1,000, how much must you make for that company for you to earn $1,000? How much? Who determines what your worth is? You see, we've given our value to somebody else because we don't think differently. We need to change how we think. For us to get from where we are, we need a totally different blueprint. And this blueprint comes by redefining everything. We have to redefine what manhood means to us. We have to redefine what success means to us. We have to redefine what it means to be a good man. And we have to redefine what it means to be a good husband. All those things is an open canvas that we need to be able to do today. Success is going to be defined by money. A woman can get around in life without money. A woman can mess up her life till 50 and a man can come and save her. She can just meet one man after making up so many mistakes for 50 years and he can erase her past. But I'm looking you in the eye and telling you, you don't have that luxury. You don't have that luxury. The best time that you have is right now. Not tomorrow. Now, most of our young black kids, we've been sold a lie that we have to go to school, work so hard, get a job, get married, work for 40 years and retire. That is a death sentence. You cannot work for 40 years hoping for one good day because nobody knows what your future holds. You might die tomorrow. You might get sick. Things happen, you might end up in jail. So when is the best time to become better? Now. But we can't become better now with the same old way of thinking. We need a fresh way of thinking. Now, we need to redefine what success means for us. The success we're buying right now is defined from Western culture. Because Western culture says success, you have to have a very good job, have a very good home, have a nice car, get married and die. And then we come all of a sudden where they make sure that you don't get a good education and the woman is more educated than you. So how are you going to fulfill that success? So we have to change the definition of that success. Now, what does it mean to be successful for you? Who wants to share for me what success means for them?
I'd like to believe that success for me is not defined by how much wealth I make or how many connections I can make, but rather, have I achieved what I dreamed of achieving? Am I happy with where I am? Am I proud of what I've done? And the bit outside of that is, was I able to make those that were bringing me up and fighting alongside me, that I showed them that they didn't waste their time, that I proved to them that I was worth the energy they invested into me. That's my definition of success.
Beautiful. Whatever your definition of success is, there is one thing we cannot cut out: money. As long as you live in this physical flesh called the human body, this human suit, you need money to survive. Our biggest problem as black people is what? Money. We're okay being poor because our mindset thinks it's okay. We're okay being poor because the formula we use for making money is wrong. Is wealth defined by how much money you have or how fast you make it? Is wealth defined by how much you have or how fast you make it? For example, we have Bra Joe that is a millionaire. He's got $1 million. He's worked for 40 years and he was making 25,000 rands a year. That gives him how much in 40 years? $1 million. Then we have another brother that makes $1 million a year. Who's richer? Who is richer?
The one that
Yeah.
takes a minute because he has more time.
He's 40 times richer.
Success is tied to money, but it can't just be just money. Because at some point you will chase 400,000, you will chase 500,000, you will chase a million, you will chase 2 million. There has to be a limit. So I feel like I like to see success and money as a thing of once you have enough to buy your freedom back, then you're gonna have to wake up and go to work and go whatever. You can wake up and do whatever you want to do. I feel like to me, that's my pinnacle definition of success. I've bought my time back. I can experience life however way I want to live it. That's what I see success as.
100%. But remember, we're not looking at money on its own. Money is a byproduct of the value that you add. Now, if you're going to make money, it means you have to add value to. Do dogs value money? Do cows value money? Who values money? Who? And where there's black people, there's problems.
That's how it's been designed.
Yeah?
That's how it's been designed.
Yeah. So if that's the case, money is a byproduct of solutions to problems. So whoever you see that looks like you, whatever problems they have is an opportunity for you. Because if you don't, somebody else will. Now, you cannot discount money. Because in this world, the way life has been created, you cannot survive without money. You cannot survive outside the system of what? Money. Now, how do we increase our value? Because if you're not making enough money, what does it mean? It means you don't have enough skills. What else? You're not adding value to the world. Now, how do we increase value? We can't just keep on saying, I can't get a job. We have to learn to create jobs. The biggest employers of Indians are who? Indians themselves. The biggest employers of Chinese are who? The biggest employers of Jews are who? Who's the biggest employer of blacks? Everybody else. Right? Now, as long as you're not employing your own people cannot get out of poverty because we are salaried race. No matter how big a car a black person has, you're always 30 days away from the streets. Because if they stop paying you, you go back to the township. Now, how do we change that? That's the kind of thinking I need us to have. Because the education system that we all have is focused on what, where, who. That is information. Information is good. But now we need to take it to the next stage. How to, which is knowledge. Yes, you are unemployed. How do you change your situation? Then for us to change, we need to bring it to wisdom is why? Why do you want money? It's not good enough to tell me you want money because you want to go party. Why do we want money?
I kind of feel like we want money to survive.
It's not enough motivation. It's not enough motivation for us. That's why we're stuck where we are. Right now, we're more educated than we've ever been educated, but our fate has not changed. All we've done, we've just changed from working in the hot farms into the air-conditioned offices in Santon. But our position hasn't changed. So to increase value, I'll give you 4 steps. Nice and easy. This is a biblical principle. Black people, you're spiritual people, but you don't read your Bible enough. We read it only the wrong way. The first thing here is we have to be fruitful. Be fruitful. The Bible doesn't say be seedful. It says be what? Fruitful. Why does it say a fruit? What is the source of a fruit? So where is the seed? Why is God telling us to be fruitful and not be seedful? Choice of words. Why are we being told to be fruitful and not seedful?
Fruit is a product or a complete product that's capable of providing to multiple at a given stage of its life.
So where is our seed?
The seed is contained within the fruit.
Okay. So when we're being told to be fruitful, the question should be, where is the seed God, right? No, we're being told, scripturally we're told we have to be fruitful. But you can't have a fruit without? No, the right question should be, where is the seed? Because a fruit is a byproduct of a seed. So where is the seed? Yeah? Where? That's it. Now you have to find out the seed in you. And how do you grow a seed?
Water.
You have to, before you water it, what must you do?
Put in the soil.
You have to put it in the soil. Most of us, unfortunately, then you put it in the soil, and what's the next thing that you're going to have to do? You need this seed to grow. What is the next thing that you do?
Water.
You water it. When was the last time you watered your seed? When was the last time you watered your seed? So we've been told, be fruitful. And then the next commandment we're told here is do multiply. And then have dominion. So the key two words I need us to focus on here is be, do, have. Be fruitful. Do multiply. Have dominion. Be, do, have. And that's what we need to do. That's your easiest success formula. You have to become that person. If you want to lose weight, or if you want to be a clever person, how do you become that person now? How do you become that person now? Yeah? But what are the physical signs? What are the things that you need to do? Let's say you want to lose weight. How do you become the person you want to become in the end?
You need to start exercising and start training.
Yes, you need to start exercising, start training. What else?
Change how you're eating.
Change your eating. What else?
Refresh your mind.
Yeah? Refresh your mind. Now, you have to become first. You become and then you start doing. And then what comes in the end? But the problem for most of us, we've reversed that formula. We want to have first. You want to have a job first. But you haven't. So you're going to the end. But when you go to the end, you're going against divine principle. This is a natural principle. The difference with the principles, unfortunately, is if you break a principle, it breaks you. Now, if you look at where we are as a race, we're violating natural principles. Right? We're violating natural principles. We're not following principles. And as a man, one of the qualities that is going to define you as a man, you have to build your life around principles. Principles are no respecter of personalities. If I take you on top of this building and ask you to jump, what are the chances that you will jump back up?
Zero, sir.
Why?
It's impossible.
Why?
Because there's limitations, sir.
Okay. But what is pulling you down?
Nothing outside of gravity.
It's gravity.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Gravity is a natural principle. You cannot defy gravity. Whether you like it or not, it will pull you away. It will pull you down. And it's the same thing when it comes to success. We're not doing the be, do, have. We're trying to go against how things work. If you go against how things work, they just end up breaking you. Any questions?
Just a quick one in terms of you explaining be, do, have, and how that should apply to us wanting to find success in whatever we're trying to do. I'm going to make an example using myself. I don't know about anyone else. I went, studied what I wanted to study, got the qualification. Now, with that being, I don't know if I've done or whether I have, and I think I'm missing a step in between the do, be, do, and have. So I don't know in those steps, what have I done and what have I missed? Because now I'm looking for work, but at the same time, I've been advised a lot of the time in terms of I should be trying to start something on my own. And it's something I feel like a lot of the times when I think of starting something on my own, I feel like sometimes I just lack the expertise. As much as I did pass I want to get more expertise on what I have. And I feel like that's something I'm just struggling with, and I just wanted to find out from your perspective and the way you've explained it. I feel like you have a better understanding than I do in terms of that.
I disagree you starting anything on your own, because it's always, you have the skills, but you don't have the experience. Now, if you look at where you are now, you have the skill set, you can never earn until you learn. And most of us, unfortunately, want to earn without learning. You have, how many places have you gone to as an intern? Because if you're going to people and asking for a job and you've just come out, I'm a business person. You're coming to me with a certificate that you've just qualified, and you have a certain salary that you want. Do I see you as a liability or an asset? It's a liability. But if you come in as an intern, straight away people will take you. So you have to change your approach. You cannot start your own business now because you'll make a lot of mistakes. It's when you go as an intern, you make mistakes on somebody else's payroll. They pay for your mistakes. You had another question for me?
It was similar to this because I think I'm following the same direction. I haven't gotten an application yet. So my thing was in the tech industry right now, it's very unstable. And also, a lot of people have been saying, just go and start your own thing. But the issue with me is that it's not that it will be a bad idea for me to start my own thing in the computer setting. It's just that I know my weakness that I can't do.
I'll stop you there. You cannot be in business if you say you can't deal with people. It's a limitation you're telling yourself. That's a belief system. It's not true.
What I'm trying to say is, when I look into starting a business, the idea of dealing with clients doesn't appeal to me. I much rather deal with the problem. I would try to find a real way.
That's what I'm saying. In business, one quality that you need in business is sales. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you are a technical person that cannot sell, if you look at your big tech entrepreneurs, apart from being very technical, they're also very good. When you think of Steve Jobs, what do you think of? When you think of Elon Musk, what do you think of? You have to become a good salesman. So that's a limitation. I'm not going to allow you to keep on repeating it because you're starting to believe it. You're not going to unlock your potential. If you cannot sell your services, then you'll never earn exactly how much you're worth. You have to sell yourself. There's no two ways about it. You have to sell yourself. There is nothing. Who can tell me now something that you believe and you know is a lie, but you still believe?
I believe in God, guys, but I feel like when we border, I'll take this. I feel like most border face. I think like the heaven chat. I really don't believe in heaven. I believe I'm not atheist. I believe in God. But I just believe when we pass away, it's
You know, there's
no hell.
these twins in their mother's womb, right? Okay. Now you have these twins in their mother's womb. They're having a discussion among them. And one says, it's so comfortable to be in here, I'm afraid to go out. And the other one says, there can't be a better way to feed apart from just being fed in the umbilical cord. The other one says, it has to be so comfortable being in this amniotic fluid. But the other one says, no, I'm sure life is better out there. You know, maybe out there you can even eat using your own hands, you can even use your own mouth. Chances are that if you go out there, you might even meet mother. This other one says, where is the mother herself? But what happened when they came out? Was it better or worse?
Both.
Worse. Maybe. I don't know. Obviously, when you're born, still innocent, and it's just exposed to the world.
But was their life better inside or outside?
Inside, I mean, because if you think about it, they were being fed, they were safe. But obviously, they didn't have that. They were limited, obviously.
Yes, sir.
And the other twin wanted to see more. So
But-
As good as non-existent inside them.
was non-existent.
You were as good as non-existent. You had no purpose.
Oh, inside. So okay.
And one of them didn't even believe that they have a mother. But if they have a mother, yeah? So it's the same relationship we have with God.
I believe in God.
It's the same relationship we have with God. It's exactly like those twins. The only way to believe that there is life outside life is just to look. Do you understand how your own body works? Do you know how much of a gift that body you're sitting in is?
It's the eyesight within us, especially. So it should come from a greater thing than ourselves.